Hey everybody, welcome back to another WV Guns and Goats video. We have not one, but two weapon lights here to show you from a company that I thought only made red dot optics. That's right, Holosun has released a line of handgun weapon lights. They've got 4 in total, and they were nice enough to send us over 2 of them. We've got the standard and the high Candela models to take a look at tonight. What we're going to do is we're going to show you everything that comes with these lights. We're going to show you the lights themselves. We're going to look at the beams after dark. We're even going to look at these lights on some different handguns so you get an idea of the fitment of the guns with the lights on them, and we might even abuse them a little bit. Before we get started though, I'd like to ask you to please like, comment, and headbutt that subscribe button to join the herd here at WV Guns and Goats. Since everything that comes with these lights is the same between both models, I figure I'd just unbox one of them for y'all. You've got your normal Holosun sleeve around their plastic box. Got the little Holosun logo on it. And then inside here, we have some goodies. We have a warranty card, a cleaning cloth, a manual, and then here's the rest of the stuff that comes with it. We've got a USB charging cable. This is a proprietary connector. See if I can get this out of there. There's that connector. It is magnetic, so it just pops right on and off. You don't have to worry about damaging the light. Say if you have it plugged in on your nightstand overnight and you go to grab the gun because you need it, that magnetic charger is just going to come right off there. You don't have to worry about it damaging a plug if it was one that plugged into the light itself. Then we have the light itself here. That foam is pretty tight too, so a nice protective foam inside there. Now these lights are really nice. They're an all aluminum construction, 70-75 aluminum. Even the bezel and the activation buttons are made out of aluminum. We have some different rail panels. These are kind of hard to see. They're little inserts for the top of the light, and you can see it right here. That's so you can adjust it to different Picatinny rails for different handguns. But so far, I've tried it on a bunch of different handguns, and I've only really needed the number 1 included one with it. They're also numbered number 2 and number 3. And the last thing in the box here is a little multi-tool. It's got a star bit or a Torx driver, and it also has a metal flat driver or flathead screwdriver on the other end of it. So that is everything that you get in the box with the p.id weapon lights. I wanted to show you that magnetic charging of the light here. If we look here, we've got 2 contacts, and then there's a little dot below them. That is actually the charging indicator LED. When the light is charging, it'll be red, and it'll change to green when the light is fully charged. Now, because this is a magnetic cable, it only snaps on one way. If you try to snap it onto the light to charge it the wrong way, the magnets will repel each other and the cable will not snap onto the light. One thing some people may not like about this light is it's not very complicated. It doesn't have a lot of different strobes or button functions, but sometimes when you're in a high stress environment, simpler is better. It's a very simple to operate light. Let me show you how to operate it. You have left and right paddle here. As I said, they're aluminum. If you press them once, real quickly, the light will just come on and stay on until you press the paddles quickly again. If you press and hold the paddles like this, the light will stay on until you release that paddle. If you hold it down for more than, I believe it is half a second, that's when it'll stay in that momentary mode until you release the button. If you want to go from high to low mode, because these lights do have that option, you take and hold both paddles down and you'll see it cycle here from high to low, and it has a memory. It will remember the last mode you were in when you turned it on and off. To give you an idea of what these lights look like on a Glock 19 sized handgun, I have the high Candela model mounted to my Kiger 9C, and here is the standard model. If you're wondering what kind of price these lights have, the standard model is around $139.99, and the HC model is around $199.99. As far as output goes, the Lumen model is 1,000 lumens and 21 or 22,000 Candela, and the high Candela model has 800 lumens output and 42,000 Candela. Now that's in the high mode. Both of these lights have a low mode and the numbers are exactly half of what they put out in the high mode. These lights have about a 1 hour runtime, and that is due to having what they call an 18350. Now if this battery looks familiar to you, it's about the same size and shape as a CR123, but do not put CR123s into this light. You will damage it. It'll tell you that right in the manual. Now, when you do take the battery out, make sure this little battery sleeve doesn't fall out and go missing. If you look here, we can see just how thick and well built the housing of the light is. And down inside there is a rubber buffer to protect the battery under recoil. If you're wondering which way the battery goes in, there's actually a little positive symbol right here engraved to show you that the positive side of the battery goes down. The bezel has another rubber buffer here to protect that battery and a gold colored spring just like in the bottom of the light. It also has a rubber O-ring, which gives this light an IP68 rating, which means it's completely dust proof and it can be submerged in up to 1 meter of water, which is 3.2 feet, for up to 30 minutes. So I know Lumens and Candela can be kind of confusing, but it really boils down to a very simple explanation. The light is kind of like this hose nozzle, and lumens is the total amount of water that this hose nozzle puts out. So it's the total amount of light that your unit puts out. However, it doesn't take into consideration the amount of flood or spread that that light has. It's kind of like this right here. We've got a big flood of water. We have a lot of water. These are our lumens coming out. Our Candela is like this jet beam of water coming out of this nozzle here. We have a much more condensed beam of water here, or light from the light itself, but it's gonna reach farther and it's more powerful. So that's kinda Candela and lumens. I hope that demonstration with the hose kinda simplified the lumens versus Candela thing. But what are the situations when you'd want high lumens versus high Candela? Well, say you're in a home defense situation and you've got a 20 by 20 by 8 foot living room and you want to light up just every little nook and cranny in that living room. That's where the high lumens is going to come into play there. The high Candela will still do a good job indoors though. It's when you get outside and say you're in an urban environment and you have a whole bunch of ambient light all over the place. You need a beam that's gonna cut through that light and not wash out as easy. That's where the high Candela comes into play. Also, say you're out in the country and you want a beam that goes a little bit further, that's where that spot type beam that the high Candela light has is also gonna be an advantage. But it's up to you to decide which one fits your environment and your needs. Let's try watering that p.id. Still going strong there. Buttons are working fine. Modes are working fine. Since the p.id sticks off in front of the muzzle, I thought we'd try it as an impact device. Here you can see a better look at the bezel of the p.id. Looks like it didn't cause much damage at all. Just left a little bit of white residue on there. Maybe it knocked a little bit of anodizing off, but the light held up great for using it as an impact weapon. Let's try some blows to the body of the light. Still on. Here's a look at the body of the light a little bit closer after we used it to strike the tops of the plates. So I thought about it, why not something a little bit more substantial than just beating the light on things? I think we're gonna have to use something a little bit bigger. We're gonna have to try something just a little bit heavier than this tractor. This is my Case CX47 excavator. Let's see if it'll kill the Holosun. This excavator weighs 10,000 pounds, so it should be a really good test for the Holosun. We'll see if it survives. It still turns on, turns off, momentary mode still works. High, low, high and low still work on this light after getting run over by the 10,000 pound excavator. We're pushing down on the light with the bucket right now. It is actually lifting the excavator up. And the light is still on. There it is, out of the dirt. The Holosun still working. A really, really impressive light, guys. Held up to everything we've done to it today. The lens is still good, just a little dirty, not cracked at all. Check that out. After we got the light all dirty, let's go ahead and wash it off. Nice and clean now. It survived everything else, but can it survive a 22 LR? We've got our bullet impact point right here. Didn't really even phase it, just kind of marked it up a little bit. We are out here at the range to test the performance after dark of the p.id series of lights. First up, we are going to try the standard p.id, and then we will try the p.id HC. The targets you see in front of you are at 25 yards. Standard p.id, high mode. Low mode. p.id HC, high mode. Low mode. p.id on the left, p.id HC on the right. Low mode, p.id on the left, p.id HC on the right. Out in front of us at about 80 yards is a barn with a baler next to it. Behind that is a tree line at about 100 yards. We're going to test out the high modes and then the low modes. We're going to see how they look at distance. p.id. p.id HC. Low mode p.id. p.id HC. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that video on the Holosun p.id line of lights. Go check them out over there at www.holosun.com. As you saw in our video, they held up really well, even stood up to being blasted with the hose for a while, being smacked against steel plates. I think these lights will hold up great for a home defense or a duty light even. Now, speaking of duty lights, I think they fit in some holsters that are made for Streamlight TLR1, and that makes sense because these lights are just slightly smaller overall than a TLR1 light. Also, I think they're at a really nice price point at the $139 for the standard and the $199 for the high Candela. So, guys, thank you for watching. This has been another WV Guns and Goats video. And remember, if you're not out there having fun shooting, what are you doing?